A team of ECOWAS officials began a field validation mission on Monday to monitor and evaluate humanitarian relief efforts for food crisis and flood victims in the Gambia. The mission, taking place from August 11 to 16, 2024, kicked off at a hotel in Kololi. ECOWAS has allocated 10.16 million US dollars for humanitarian relief across its member state, with 1.76 million US dollars designated for the Gambia. This mission aims to ensure the effectiveness and transparency of the aid provided, involving field visits, stakeholder meetings, and assessment of relief efforts.
And without doubt, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, for what we've listened to and during our courtesy visit to the special representative of ECOWAS to the Republic of the Gambia, we are not yet on the field, but from listening and observing and hearing, we are very optimistic that those in need, those that we need to reach out to, have been already receiving the benefit, and they have been also beneficiary of this assistance. Accordingly, the Republic of the Gambia was identified for this implementation, and today we have collectively supported the affected population, and in view of the humanitarian principles of transparency and accountability, we are embarking on this mission to measure the impact of our collective support and efforts to identify the gaps and see how we can do better by leaving no one behind.
The delegation includes representatives from the ECOWAS Commission, the Gambia's National Disaster Management Agency, the government, and various partners. In 2022, floods devastated the Gambia, affecting over 50,000 people, including in the capital. The NDMA, with support from ECOWAS, responded to assist the affected communities. The executive director of NDMA noted that the 2024 flood response project under CRS aims to help 2,650 households nationwide, and expressed gratitude for ECOWAS support in managing the crisis.
Following the devastation caused by the 2022 flood that impacted several ECOWAS member states, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has taken a significant step by allocating $603,616 to the National Disaster Management Agency. The funding is aimed at facilitating a 6-month response plan to support households affected by the 2022 flood. The National Disaster Management Agency, acting on behalf of the Government of the Gambia, has identified the Catholic Relief Service, a non-governmental organization, and a reliable partner to implement this project. The initiative is being carried out in close collaboration with the National Disaster Management Agency to ensure effective and timely support for the affected household. The 2022 flood response project under CRS aims to assist 2,650 households nationwide and was officially launched on May 30th, 2024. We are pleased to welcome the ECOWAS monitoring team to assess the progress made so far. I want to thank ECOWAS for supporting member states in managing the impact of the crisis. Disasters have significantly affected people's life and livelihood, especially in 2022, when over 50,000 people were affected by the flood in the Gambia.
The acting executive director of the National Nutrition Agency, Mr. Malang Fofana, informed the ECOWAS monitoring team that the funds provided by ECOWAS were utilized by NANA and its partners to carry out rapid assessments, identifying vulnerable households. He assured the team that 78% of the funds were directly distributed to the beneficiaries.
Society norms, climate change, and natural disasters hinder progress on the empowerment of households and affect social cohesion. This has cumulative effects on the development of the community and our nation as a whole. Addressing these issues is critical to prevent fragility and vulnerability, building resilience in the country. The funds received from ECOWAS was used by NANA and the partners to conduct rapid assessment to verify the most vulnerable households among the list of households that were affected by flood in 2022. The fund was also used to sensitize the local authorities, the chiefs, the governors, the mayors, and the councils on the purpose of the fund. And we also sensitize communities for them to understand the rationale behind the funds and who are the target of the funds. And I can assure you that 87% of that fund has directly gone to the beneficiaries. About 20 million has gone to the beneficiaries.
The country representative of CRS, Dr. Amulai Thure, stated that the NDMA developed a 4-type inclusion criteria to ensure transparency in the participation selection process.
CRS, in close collaboration with NDMA, has developed 4 tiers for inclusion criteria. Because when it comes to funding, it is always important to be clear who is qualified or who is selected and the mode of selection. What are the criteria that are employed to do that? And these tiers include 1, those that have people living with disabilities in the households. Because it is important to not forget that when disaster strikes, the people that are mostly affected are those that are living with disability. So those people were prioritized first. And then secondly, household with female heads. These are households that are headed by females. We know that in terms of vulnerability, they are among the most vulnerable groups as well. And households whose houses were completely destroyed due to the floods or partially destroyed. But priority was given to those whose houses were completely destroyed. And to be excluded, and in order to increase reach and avoid duplication, households that have received support from other government interventions or development partner intervention, including NANA, were excluded. Because this will give us the opportunity to reach those that are not reached yet. And this is also aligned with ECOWAS goal to provide broader support to the most needed in times of disaster crisis.
The Deputy Permanent Secretary at the Office of the Vice President, Usman Sise, highlighted the government's commitment to collaborating with ECOWAS and other partners. This ongoing effort aims to enhance the capacities of institutions and communities to effectively reduce people's vulnerability to disaster.
Therefore, I extend my sincere appreciation to the Economic Community of West Africa for its invaluable financial support in addressing this crisis. The government of the Gambia is truly grateful to ECOWAS assistance, which has greatly complemented our efforts to alleviate the situation. Furthermore, the government will also continue working with ECOWAS and other partners to strengthen the capacities of institutions and communities to take measures to minimize people's vulnerability to disasters.
Research indicates that the Gambia is increasingly experiencing natural disaster, including flood, storms, and droughts over the last 3 years. The country has faced a significant disaster roughly every 2 years, with flooding representing more than the half of these events. Reporting for Kirfatu, I am Ramatulai Jao.